Hi everyone, I'm still alive. Give me my pajamas. Well, I wanted to finish up this because I did promise you guys that I would have it up. So this is 411 part 2. I'm not going to be answering any questions or talking to anybody right now. You guys have been giving me your questions, and I will be making a video within the next couple of days answering all those questions for you guys, okay? So it's going to look like I'm reading. It is because I wrote like this enormous, long, 5,000 page novel. So let's go ahead and get it done. Um, if you remember, I was talking about the Shea, okay? These guys were also known as the Shining Ones, okay? They were of great importance to the ancient civilizations, okay? And this is worldwide. This isn't just local here, like in the US or in Ireland or in Scotland or in the UK. I mean, it was just worldwide. This was a worldwide culture. Um, we still don't know if they were walking serpents or if they're reptilians or maybe even like the bird people. We don't know that, okay? What we do know is that the church tried to erase this almost forgotten race from history. Um, but they still live on, okay? So that tells you how powerful they are. They live on and they're in our residual brain, okay? And I'm going to call it our reptilian brain. And by our reptilian brain, what I mean is that we're there um, like primitive, primal, okay? So we kind of fear these things and we know when to see them to get the hell out of there, okay? Um, we're trying to just figure this all out, okay? And all I can do is tell you what I was told, okay? And before I get off the subject, I want to discuss the idea of using other beings, because I had a lot of you that were asking questions about this. Um, these other beings and the use of magic, okay, by the Shea. I'm going to tell you something that I was taught a long time ago, okay? Humans and many other beings can use the Earth's vibrational and magnetic field here to perform what I guess we humans would call magic. I was taught that it's just the opening of a different door, and that I'm kind of jumping around here looking in that at some point, all of us, as I've said before in the past, have had the ability to do magic, okay? And I'm using that term because that's just like the best term that I can think of, okay? To explain it, to make people understand and associate in their brain with what happens, okay? So it's just what I'm calling it, okay? I don't know what the proper term for it is, okay? We had the ability, we had to be able to survive and thrive on this planet. So there are many different types of beings here, on this planet. I know it's hard for everybody to accept this, but it is the truth, okay? The only thing that is exceptional about this planet is the fact that it was created specifically as a teaching planet, okay? And since it is a teaching planet, there are so many different types of beings and creatures that come here. Okay, so I always say just equate it to with high school. Think about when you were in high school, you had other counties that came to your school, people that you had never met before. Okay, but sometimes they got to be your friends, even though they weren't living right there in your town. And I know that's kind of a weird equation, but that's just the simplest analogy that I can give for it. Some of them have abilities and gifts that may appear as magic to us, because we humans, a lot of us don't have that ability anymore. We lost it. In reality, though, it's just them using their innate talents that they have, okay? Sasquatch, dogmen, face eaters, Escalae. The rest of the beings that are here, they really do exist as their own entities. Okay, they're not the Shea. Okay, but the Shea can mimic them to get them a bad reputation, I guess you could say, or as a scapegoat. So that's the best way to explain it. Some, can look invisible. Others look like they're like a shimmer, I guess, in the air. So more of the Shea have the ability to camouflage themselves or step into and out of this reality, leaving us, really shocked that when us human beings come into contact with them, you know, um, it's it's really disconcerting when you're dealing with these beings. Okay, I myself have long suspected that the Shea are kin to the Jinn. Okay, um, some people may even say that they are the Jinn. I'm not so sure about that. It's taken me a lot of digging and referencing and ferreting and literally hostile Q&A of beings to figure this out. I already knew they really did exist, but I never really wanted to interact with them as the stories of my people declared them hostile, to stay away from them. As I have said earlier, though, this creature mentioned in the Quran, which is the Middle Eastern holy book, is often translated as genius, okay, and indicates in the pre-Islamic and Muslim religions a supernatural entity, okay? This is an intermediate between the world's angelic beings and us humans, okay? So often having a malignant nature. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Often having a malignant nature, which means just stay the heck away from it. These guys are evil every way they come. Okay, even if in some cases it can show itself in a completely, nice, benevolent, protective way, Jinn literally means hiding and concealing oneself. So it should be noted that the term that I'm using here, Jinn itself, is phonetically close to Gehenna, the fiery place imagined by Judaism, where evil souls will remain for eternity. Kind of creepy, sicko, weirdo, huh? Yeah. Considerable power, was attributed to these guys, and they were believed to be capable of expressing devastating and often deadly wickedness. Okay, so I find it really interesting that I'm going to kind of skip here for a second and tell you guys this. King Solomon's temple was said to have been built by the jinn. And if you really look at the story behind it, it's really fascinating because it does put together all of the mythology and legends that we've been passed down. He was unable to control them, of course. So what he did was he asked God for help, and God sent him a little tiny iron ring to wear on his finger. And he's like, what the heck is that going to do? Well, he found out that when he put that ring, that iron ring on his finger, he could subjugate the jinn. Now, if you remember in my past videos, I've talked about the fae, the fairies, etc. All of these types of beings being harmed, almost harmed in the fact that it makes them sick, nauseous, bow down to us when you have something iron on your person. And that's why I often tell people when they're out in the woods walking to carry an iron nail with them, okay? Because these guys cannot handle it. It totally breaks up their vibrational frequency, okay? So I find it interesting that here we are talking about the jinn here, and yet there's a biblical reference of them this way. Okay, according to the Quran, jinn are creatures, that were originated at the beginning of of time. Okay, um, Heavenly Father created them to worship Him, but with the creation of many of them rebelled because God preferred us humans to them. Okay, so these beings today are halfway between the angelic world and the human one. Okay, so despite being different from both men and angels, unlike the first originating from the earth and the second originating from the light, the jinn were created from the flame of a smoke-free fire. And I'm just going to call that plasma. Okay? Whenever the Shea appear, there is a strange sound like the humming of thousands of bees. Also, a whirlwind, dust devil, is caused by this. Okay? Now, remember, I've told you guys, whenever you're near a portal or something like that is going on with these guys, you're going to hear a vibration that makes your teeth just rattle. And literally does that, okay? In the book of Invasions called The Leper Gabala by author Aaron, compiled in 1150, okay, that's a big one there for me to spit that one out. It claims in a poem that when they came to Ireland, they were riding in flying ships surrounded by dark clouds. Okay? They landed on the mountain in County Leitrim, where they brought a darkness over the sun lasting 3 days. Okay, now I'm just going to say, go to your Bible and look up darkness lasting 3 days. You're going to be a little shocked. Okay? Humans have given these guys the name Shea rather than what they call themselves, which is Elsia. There are otherworldly beings who resemble us humans in size and appearance. Okay, but remember, they can adjust their size and appearance. Okay, Elsia are considered to be a distinct race, quite separate from human beings, yet who have had much contact with them over the centuries. They're tall with a noble appearance, okay, and silvery sweet voices. Okay, remember I said it's almost like tinkling, like a wind chime. It's got a real lyrical, musical bent to it, okay? They are generally described as stunningly beautiful, okay, although they can appear as terrible and hideous. They are sometimes described as transparent beings who walk without sound or leaving tracks. I'm going to say that one again. They're sometimes described as transparent beings who walk without making a sound or leaving tracks. Kind of makes you wonder there, doesn't it? Okay? No matter where they live, it is in an invisible world that coexists with this world of us humans, okay? So their world runs parallel to ours, okay? It's a different dimension of space and time. Now I sound like Rod Serling, okay, other than our own. And if you dare ask me who Rod Serling is, we're gonna have fisticuffs here, okay? I know I'm old. This world is described as a parallel universe in which the Elsia walk amongst the living, okay? So right there is another indication, or could be an indication, for shadow people, because they're walking among us living, okay? Not only are these beings said to be shapeshifters, giving rise to, the many skinwalker, Bigfoot, dogman, etc., legends and myths that we have, but these guys also could walk among us, looking like one of us, okay? Nevertheless, despite the attempts to control all the information in the world, which has happened for the most part, there seems to be some light shining through the little cracks here. And from all the attempts to cover up the truth about these beings, okay, I'm offering you guys a bit of this light, okay? I hope you will ask yourselves, how well do they know the world in which we live in, about the truth that actually happened in the past and the one that history tells us? Please ask yourself about all of this, okay? Who is really pulling all the strings, and what is their connection with all past events, and why some things are constantly being kept hidden from us? It's my hope that this will provoke people, to question themselves, what they've been taught, and to see what we take for granted. This is because in these times, we constantly have new facts emerging from darkness, which are showing us that there is a difference between what we know and what is just now coming out into the light. Okay, remember what I always say, everything kept in the dark will eventually come to the light. Okay. Um, in researching these guys, I just keep finding connection after connection with the shining ones and the angels and the seraphim, who are all described as bright as the sun. Okay? So make no question about it. These beings have been coming and going for some time, as is clearly shown in history and on the walls of the surrounding areas, in ancient petroglyphs. Phoenicia is where, according to the book of Enoch, the fallen angels first descended, to Mount Hermon. From there, some claim the land of serpent gods is America, became the home of these guys. Okay. The Native American shamans here tell of the Bhakti gods, which the term translates pretty much to shining ones, who descended on the earth millions of years ago, establishing a base. So I know a lot of people don't really care for President Bush, but he did say something that really caught my attention one time. He stated, "And an angel still rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm." So he literally was speaking the truth. It makes me wonder if he kind of like had a revelation or something. And I want to end this real quick with something really important, okay? And I've told everybody this over the years, my own children, I've driven it into them, to please remember the best way to tell an unwanted truth is to make it seem a lie, okay? That way no one's going to question. And that's exactly what's been going on since they came here. We found out that we humans had zero chance against these beings. So we chose a form of subterfuge, okay, by making them into less than they really are, by calling them fairies, fae, whatever you want to call them, sprites. It doesn't matter. These beings definitely have abilities that we don't have, and they are dangerous, okay? So I'm going to end this. I'm back from having surgery. I want to go lay down. I can't stay sitting up for very long. But I want y'all to know that I love you and I thank you for tuning in. And in the next couple days, I'll post up the answers to the questions that I get. And if for some reason I should happen to miss your question on my video, because I am not perfect, please email me at kathanson@yahoo.com and I will go there and take your question and add it to the video. Okay? So I thank you guys. You guys have a great, great night. I love you all. Thank you.